when I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Donnie and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Put my hat up.
I'm South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart,
Happy 20th anniversary.
my heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? John.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself.
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Donnie, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
Letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
All right. First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. We have on the line with us Sabrina Bass. You with us, Sabrina?
I'm here, Donnie. Thank you.
All right. We're going to try to get that volume a little bit better. Got Mr. Wayne Frazier. Mr. Wayne Frazier, how you living?
Oh, my God. I'm living the life of Raleigh. It's wonderful.
Who is Raleigh? Okay. Mr. Lundy, attorney, how are you? You got a haircut. Look at you.
Oh, my God. He did. He looked good.
You got to unmute your microphone, Mr. Lundy.
Oh, okay. I was having audio issues for a second hearing you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good. And the lovely Deena Joyce. How are you, Deena?
Good morning, everyone. I am great.
Deena got the fly hair. Deena, you always got the fly do.
She's looking so good.
Thank you.
Mr. Frazier, I defer to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Donnie. We've been fortunate over the last 2 weeks to have a series of interviews and discussions with our luminaries, our honorees for our this Friday, May 12th, spring breakfast at Martin's West. And today,
20th year.
You're right about that. So proud of that. And I'm only 32, but today concludes those series of interviews, and we have, three extremely valuable luminaries today representing the government side. The past weeks or days we've had private corporations and so forth, but today we have the government side who are working behind the scenes to make sure that our minority and women-owned businesses receive a fair shake in getting certified and all of those valuable, they call them North American Standard Industry Codes, those NACE codes, in addition to over at DPW in Baltimore City, that our small minority and specifically African-American owned businesses win opportunities there under this whole new program of debundling the various large contracts there. We'll get into that, but I am so pleased to have the three today because one, state of Maryland, two, the city of Baltimore, but they do such a vital job in ensuring that we have success. So without ado, I would like for each of you to introduce yourself. Let's start off with Miss Deena Joyce.
Hi, I'm Deena Joyce. I'm the Chief of the Office of Boards and Commissions. I have been with the city since 2017.
But Dean, I thought you were around a lot longer than that.
It seems as so because you were in one of our classes. Yes, it seems as so.
Okay, okay.
And Miss
Sabrina
Sabrina.
Bass, you want to say hello?
Good morning. Yes, this is Sabrina Bass. I'm the director of the Office of Minority Business Enterprise for the state of Maryland.
And in your role there at the Minority Business Enterprise, you do what?
Yes, I'm the director of the Office for MBE, and we're the official certifying agency for the state of Maryland and for the federal disadvantaged programs.
Very good. And last but not least, Mr. Christopher Lundy.
You muted yourself, Mr. Lundy. Down the bottom, the microphone. You got to unmute it. Down the very bottom, you see a microphone? Just click the microphone. Come on, you can do it.
You sure can.
I'm having audio issues, guys. My sound keeps going in and out, so I don't know if you can hear me. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get it so I can hear you all.
Well, you undid it. What can go wrong with technology will go wrong. It's called Murphy's Law. You were good, and then you went backwards. And then sometimes too, of course, with if you're using municipal equipment.
Don't say that, man.
There you go. There you go. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Okay, so I can hear you guys now. Sorry about that.
Okay, okay. So tell us about yourself, Mr. Lundy.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You're doing good. We hear you. Okay. So, Mr. Frazier, you clearly have the all-star crew.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we know. I remember Miss Sabrina Bass was doing work over here in West Baltimore, and she made some opportunities available that people just didn't know about it. Tell us about that, Sabrina. Tell us about the work you've been doing for your career.
Oh, okay. So I was at Coppin State University for 18 years, and I went there as a procurement officer and then the director of procurement. Then I moved into the capital construction projects. As you know, that we revitalized the North Avenue area corridor with all of the new facilities, and that's what I did in West Baltimore.
And you made sure that Black people got a shot at the business, right?
Yes, we were very proactive, of course, with minority business enterprise programs and with our prime contractors. And we achieved above 30% on all of our projects.
Now, Ms. Bass, you're not just saying that because I'm a nice guy. You actually did this. You followed through on this. You made sure that the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted.
Yes, and you're aware of that.
I know that.
From our numbers and our reports doing all the construction projects, we also published that information to the community.
Why was that important to you?
Well, minority business enterprise has always been important to me. It's, it's a passion that minority businesses have an opportunity to participate in state procurement opportunities. I mean, there are millions, billions of dollars that are spent, and we should have an opportunity to take part in that. And the programs have been around to help with that, and it's doable. And minority businesses for the state right now, we just this month exceeded 9,000 firms in the directory. So there are businesses out there, they're available and they're ready to work.
Did you hear that, Mr. Frazier? Did you know that?
Well, the last, and this was several years ago that I checked, it was around 6,000. And so that's a significant pace to add 3,000 more in what, a couple of years. So, I mean, I'm not sure if we label that success or too much. I'm trying to grasp that right now
I would
because
say success. The more businesses available in the various products and services and all of the state agencies that purchase items, and also the private sector also uses minorities from our directory, I think it's a good thing. A lot of minorities are starting their own businesses and becoming entrepreneurs, and that's important to our economic development.
So, do you have a breakdown, for example, how many women versus Asians versus Latinos versus African Americans versus Native Americans that have been certified?
Yeah, that information is available in the directory by sorting, but we have around 4,500 African American companies, about 1,500 women, and it goes down a little less than that on other. Let me see. Probably have that handy.
Well,
so Mr. Frazier, let me just get this in for you. I want you to set the table for us. When it comes to the state of Maryland, Black people make up 30% of the state. And there are those of us that think that if we make up 30% of the state, we should be getting 30% of the contracts. Now, I wasn't Martin O'Malley's biggest fan, but he actually did push the number from, now you correct me if I'm wrong, from 25% to 29%, correct?
Yes.
And to his credit, I am not the biggest fan, but he did push the concept of minority business enterprise from the local level all the way to the state level.
Yes.
Now the challenge is, Mr. Frazier, correct me if I'm wrong, are the white women that tend to get in these positions and get these contracts when they are really not minorities. They are fronts for their husbands or brothers or what have you. Is that correct?
Well, as I said before, the state
Sabrina,
of
that's
Maryland.
not true.
I would say no.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you.
That's not an accurate statement. And the
Thank
state certification program is a race and gender-based program. And certified women in our program are approximately 1,500 firms. African American, about 4,400. Asian Americans, about 1,000. Hispanic, about 800. Native Americans, about 40. And so there's a good participation, disparity in participation.
Okay, my last question: what percentage of the business goes to Black people?
Well, I'm not aware of what that number would be. We don't do contract compliance. The Governor's Office of Small Minority Women Business Affairs, they publish an annual report that identifies what the state procurement awards and dollars spent, and the breakdown of that. So I'm not aware of exactly.
But in previous years, African Americans have always earned the least amount of state participation, the least amount. And the surprising part is, you said 4,400 or so have been certified out of the 9,000. So that's half. So you would think, if you extrapolate, that we would be earning the far greater share, but obviously that is not the case.
Well, also certification doesn't mean you get a contract. It just means you're certified.
Correct.
Come on, Deena, Joyce, say something. I see you nodding. You got to unmute. Yeah.
Yes, it does. It does not guarantee you a contract. You have to competitively bid. So there are no set-asides, especially within Baltimore City, but we are definitely trying to make a change as we diversify in how we do business.
So let us say thank you to Sabrina and to Deena for making sure that Black people get a shot in a majority Black city where we got a Black governor and Black people in all of these prominent positions. As you know, Mr. Frazier, politics without economics is nothing.
Nothing. But we also have here in the city, we have, I see, is he back?
No, not yet.
Okay. So, so Deena, why is it that you feel so compelled to recommend to our mayor and your boss, Dr. Mitchell, why is it that you recommended that the city begin this whole process of unbundling and the education that goes along?
Can you guys hear me?
We can. Mr. Lundy, I'll control your mic from here on out, okay? Thank you.
So, our office, the Office of Boards and Commissions, we actually pre-qualify businesses to do business with the city of Baltimore for 50,000 and above. I also oversee, in my capacity, the Small Business Development Training Program. And this training program is an 11-week course, and it teaches small minority women-owned firms to do business with the city. Mr. Lundy participates in it. He shows them how to become a certified minority within the city of Baltimore. We have bonding, contract administration, procurement, blueprint reading, and other things. We also, what you get out of this course for only $199 is OSHA safety training. And there are opportunities to network. So with the unbundling initiative, after you participate in the small business program, there are not a lot of contracts attainable for a small business. Most of the contracts that are advertised through my office are $10 million and above. And if you're just starting out in business, you can't do that. So a lot of I felt, I guess when I first came here, I tried to boost minority participation. And I thought if we did business differently by unbundling contracts, it would afford smaller and minority firms the opportunity to participate in these contracts, especially after learning how to do business with the city of Baltimore. So I am truly humbled and grateful that Dr. Mitchell believed in me, that the mayor, under his leadership, he absolutely recognized the help that it would give to the city. We'll provide access to people who don't have jobs, because if we absolutely unbundle contracts in the city, they will hire people who they know. And we get Baltimore based firms. They will hire people who they know within the city who need assistance in jobs. A lot of times, our water utilities are worked on by firms that are out of town or firms just from not within the city of Baltimore. We can't reach these firms if everything is bundled up. And just on this unbundling initiative alone with this water contract, we will achieve 49% participation.
Wow.
In this one alone. So I am truly thankful to the mayor, to Director Mitchell, and the DPW team who's helped. Darnell Ingram has helped me lead this charge. Mr. Lundy has been invaluable with this, and Tenora, and OBC, contract administration. Since Director Mitchell has been here, truly, it has been a change with our participation with even Mr. Lundy and getting minorities paid. A lot more people participate with you. Would you agree, Chris, that a lot more people participate in getting minority firms paid? We were having a lot of different issues with that. But 1 year ago, truly at your annual event, Mr. Frazier, Director Mitchell said he wanted to see change.
Get out of here.
He wanted us to see change, and this was truly 1 year ago that it has truly turned, and he's brought to the forefront. He has truly been a change agent in his just short tenure here.
What's his first name, Deena?
Jason,
Okay.
Jason Mitchell. He has truly been a change agent for DPW and this unbundling initiative and how we do business. It will truly help Baltimore based firms who desire to do utility work. And we don't have a lot of minority or women owned businesses in this work. We will always need water. It's one of our life's, it's our precious resource. We will always need water. So there will always be work. We have to train minorities to do work and small businesses to do work. And we have to change the way that we do business. And Director Mitchell has been a great change agent for this. But I'm just grateful. DPW, we participate in a lot, and we are not perfect. We have a long way to go. We're not perfect, but we are becoming best in class. I have to put our tagline in. We are truly trying to become best in class as we do different things to enhance equity and the participation and how we do business with smaller and minority firms.
So I heard that the rumor that the Municipal Employees Credit Union (MICU) uh, is looking to provide financing for the DPW debundling contractors. Is that so?
Yes, they actually. Since I've been here, started a FaceTime with Primes, an annual event for us to network. MICU wanted to participate, and they heard about the unbundling initiative from an employee, Rick Banks, and he absolutely got in touch with them. They called and they participated with us to do business, and they stated that they would provide a line of credit to the minority and small firms who want to participate, because we do need a funding source. And Mr. Lundy and others in the mayor's office are going to help to ensure that these firms get paid on time.
Let me just jump in here for a second. Mr. Frazier, have we seen this type of activity in years past, or do we see a renewed focus on minority business, particularly this unbundling? Has unbundling ever happened before?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a catch line with the state, but nothing never really materialized. What we're seeing occurring in Baltimore City is phenomenal. It's game changing,
unprecedented.
I would say so.
Okay, let's get Mr. Lundy in on this. He's been patient.
Hey, good morning. Sorry for the technical difficulties there, but yeah, this is a great conversation, and unbundling is key for creating the opportunities for our small local minority and women-owned businesses. We're really trying to take a look. We definitely have this DPW initiative that's going to be fantastic. That's going to give a lot of people opportunities to build capacity and get opportunities, like Deena said, on contracts that are typically too large for them. So we want people to be able to do work with the city, get experience so they can grow into the opportunity to be prime contractors themselves and continue to give back to other small minority and women-owned businesses. That's really the cycle we want to see. That's the growth we want to see in the out of the Minority and Women's Business Program, that we see people continuously do work, build their capacity, get additional skills to add different codes to do more work, and elevate themselves to a prime contractor position where they don't need necessarily that boost out of the program.
So, Mr. Lundy, we got to say thank you. We have to say thank you because we've not seen this level of participation before.
Well, you're welcome. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me for the honor I'm getting from Wayne and the reflection of that sentiment from the community, because this is really what it always should have been. And we're just getting started on how we're going to go forward. because similar to the DPW program, we're going to be moving forward shortly with not so much an initiative, just some additional guidance to the agencies to make sure they truly understand how to unbundle their contracts, because DPW is setting the way in that regard of really taking the steps and showing how it can be done. We're going to be getting with the rest of our large agencies and talking to them about how they can break up contracts. When we have citywide contracts, we can break those into whether that be just geographic zones of Northwest, East, North, South, East, West, if we want to do it that way, if we want to do it by services, if we want to say something like hauling, electrical for larger projects, CCTV, things that we can sometimes say, we can break those out to be smaller contracts. It don't have to be 10 million. Maybe we need $10 million worth of work. Maybe that's 5 contracts. Maybe that's even 10 contracts. But we need to reform our thinking of how we approach procurement to be more inclusive, because these are affirmative steps that we have to take to get that inclusion, because otherwise we'll continue to have small minority women-owned businesses to a degree on the outside looking in on some of this work. And as we're getting to infrastructure, we have a lot of infrastructure money not guaranteed to us yet, but that we're expecting from the federal government. And it's key and critical to myself and the city that we make sure that we have our businesses set to take advantage of that work. So we don't have a situation where we get whatever X millions of dollars and you say that you don't know any minority businesses or you don't know any women-owned businesses that are working with the city on that work. We want this to be something that can really enrich the community and continue to see a more diverse pool of our suppliers at every stage. Because this is also getting to our goods. We've got something hopefully coming in the future to really supplement our suppliers of goods, to give them a better platform so that we can really turn to them more often than we do now.
Mr. Frazier, let me just jump in. This is unprecedented. This young mayor, this youthful mayor, Brandon Scott, is leading the way on an issue that we've been pushing for. I know I've been pushing it 20 years. You're a little bit older than me, so you've been pushing it 21 years. But this mayor gets reelected in my book with this type of effort and push for Black business. I'm just excited.
Well, so am I. So Chris, with the mayor's full buy-in, how will you set goals? Because it's your office that set goals on contracts, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So will you be looking at each opportunity, breaking it down, and then setting goals as well?
Yes. So our process is we look at each contract on an individualized basis. So every contract over $50,000 in the city for any spending comes to my office, whether that be goods or services, professional services, architecture and engineering, construction, technology, everything that we do over $50,000, we see those contracts. And we're looking at the scope of services to determine our availability of certified small minority and women-owned businesses. We've changed the way that people see waivers, because waivers are not the default. Goals are the default. Waivers are the exception. And really, waivers should be limited to those finite circumstances where we can't put goals on it.
What's a waiver?
So a waiver is when the minority and women's business program requirements are not applicable. So that then there are no minority or women's business goals on that particular contract. So these typically come into place where employment contracts, of course, we can't segment what one employee is going to do. Federal grants, state grants that we're just passing through and there's no actual additional city money. Those are things that we typically don't do. Proprietary software, sole source work where they can't, again, subcontract. But the goal is to do our best to really break apart these contracts. And that's how we get a little bit of the unbundling as we go, even with these scopes, is breaking down those services to make sure that we're clear even what's involved in the contract.
Mr. Lundy, can I just do a little translation? This is essentially a big white company saying, we can't find any Black people, we can't find any minorities who can do the work, so we want a waiver.
That's correct. In fairness, that includes our minority and women-owned businesses too, because even if you're a minority or women-owned, you still may have goals on your contract to bring in other minority or women-owned businesses to continue to grow that capacity and get participation. But you've got it though. That is exactly it. It's saying that we either feel that we can't get it done or we think that those people don't exist. One of the changes we've really made is looking at the efforts. What did you do before you sent in this waiver request form and said that you can't get minority or women owned businesses? How many businesses did you talk to? What is the proportion of those businesses compared to the overall availability? So in some situations, if you speak to 3 companies, that may be sufficient for good faith efforts if, say, there's 5 certified companies. But if you spoke to 3 and we have 3 dozen certified businesses that do those services, that's not going to be sufficient efforts for a waiver. We're going to tell you to go out and continue to get quotes and continue to speak to those minority and women owned business owners to get that participation. That's a waiver that if we solve that with 3 contacts and we have 3 dozen businesses, we're going to go ahead and say you need to do more, and we're going to continue to make you be obligated to the goals. The difference is when people say, hey, we spoke to 15 people out of maybe 20 businesses, and they have the documentation. Because the other thing that's key is not that you say, well, I called a business, nobody answered. Did you do a follow-up? Did you send them something via email? Did you send a letter? What are you actually doing to give people an opportunity? Because everybody knows Wayne's a business owner. When Donnie, you're a business owner. When you guys are out there busy, if I just give you a call this afternoon, you don't answer. That shouldn't be your only opportunity on the contract. We want to make sure that they're actually reaching out in good faith, trying to actually secure the quotes. And the other thing is looking at the quotes. Sometimes people say, oh, well, all the minority businesses were too high. We're really looking at justification for that. It's not just a lip service of you telling us simply that, well, we can't do it, or all the minority businesses quoted us so much more. We have to look at what really goes into that communication. And it's the same way with substitute and subcontractors as well. We really want to peel back the details and make sure we understand, because before we just rubber stamp and say you're off the hook for the goals.
Mr. Frazier, I'm both excited and I'm angry. I'm excited that we have this brand new day in Baltimore, but damn, I'm angry. Why just now? Why is Mr. Lundy just getting here? Huh?
Chris has been around. He was just not the choice of the previous mayor.
Mr. Frazier, we've been pushing this for years. Why are we just hearing about this in 2023? What was the delay? Was somebody stuck on stupid? It's a majority black city.
Well, I think with the addition of DPW Director Dr. Mitchell, him coming from California with a whole different mindset, I think a lot of that helped spur the change. Then you have Deena. I mean, she came out of WSSC, which is a water utility down in Prince George's in Montgomery County, and with a whole different mentality. And then, you had Chris. He was out in Baltimore County, I believe, prior to here. And you bringing all of these minds together, and they say, well, we can do this.
I want to know who was in the way, Mr. Frazier. Somebody need to go back and get locked up because they've been holding up progress.
I agree. But we haven't. But Chris, tell me, how does, say, a media company like Donnie Glover, should they consider getting certified as a MBE in the state? I mean, in the city, and then Sabrina, you're there in the state as well. Would that provide that? Would that provide his company with some opportunities?
Yes, but I do want to circle back to what you all were just discussing, though, in terms of how we get here and the timing. I think it's key that we recognize that there has been a focus of of all of our city leaders, frankly, that hasn't always been there, from the mayor, as you all recognize, but also when you look at the Board of Estimates, when you look at Council President Mosby, Comptroller Henry, our prior solicitor Jim Shea, who was tough on these issues, and now, of course, our wonderful current solicitor Ebony Thompson. We've really had, and obviously Director Mitchell is on the Board of Estimates as well. We've had a shift in the prioritization of these matters, and it starts with the Board of Estimates. If the board is willing to approve contracts that don't treat the minority and women-owned businesses correctly, whether that be through the percentages that we set and they're seeking waivers, or if it's with payment issues, we just have a different view of it now, and people are really plugged into that. But as far as certification for the media company, I think it's very important that everyone gets certified is eligible for certification. If you have that minority or women's business majority ownership and you have an office in the Baltimore City market area, I think it's very important to get certified. Even if you never get on a city contract, our active certification directory is a great enhanced location for you to get attention for your business. A lot of large prime contractors, the universities, other counties rely on our certification to do business. And it's really critical that you have that visibility, because so many people that aren't even working on a city contract will reach out to me and say, oh, I was looking at the directory to find someone for this or that. And people make those reach outs. And it's really critical that your business information is profiled there. And now in B2G, which we share with the state, we have the same platform. It gives a lot more robust details about your business, and it makes it so that people can reach out and contact you directly without having to get additional information. It has all the details there.
Yes.
Well, Sabrina?
Give me 1 second. There we go. Sabrina.
I'm here.
So we were discussing, would it be wise for a media company like Donnie's, to be certified by the state of Maryland?
I would say absolutely. And the state buys all kinds of products and services.
Just to warn you, Mr. Frazier, she had her foot up my hind parts for about 15 minutes, saying that I definitely need to do this paperwork. As a matter of fact, they have a workshop on June 6th.
That's correct.
And I am signed up. Okay.
Wonderful.
And thank you, Tanya, for the suggestion.
Well, perhaps you can also advertise that too, Donnie, so folks can see the seriousness of it and attend
We'd
that.
love to.
It's a free workshop.
Mr. Lundy. Mr. Lundy,
well, I'd like to have that too, Sabrina. So.
I'm sorry, what was that?
So Donnie always
Sabrina.
goes off into the twilight zone every day.
Well, the application workshops are
So-
the first Tuesday of every month. Online. And on the quarters, January, March, and June, they also have two. They have one at 10 a.m. and one at 5:30 p.m. for people who can't do a morning session.
Mr. Frazier, I just got to say to you that Deena, Sabrina, Mr. Lundy, they are straight shooters. What just blows my mind is we have needed them right here a long time. I guess they were here, but there were some other people in the way. That's all I know. This is a new day in Baltimore. People see it. Maybe they were here all along, but there were some blockers in there. You know, like somebody got macaroni and cheese in their arteries or something. But I'm glad the mac and cheese is out the way so we can get straight to the jugular.
Donnie, you always do get straight to the jugular. But we are very fortunate to have these young people hitting these offices. Now, Chris, I also heard a rumor that there's been a reorganization down at City Hall with this whole Office of Minority and Women Business Enterprise. And the rumor I heard is that stuff or folk will begin to report up through you that hadn't been before. Can you confirm if that rumor is?
Yes, I can definitely do that. So the mayor's office of Minority and Women's Business Development has merged with my office, IMBU, the Minority and Women's Business Opportunity Office, and we're within the law department. So this fiscal year, from last July to the end of next month, June, we've been merging and we've been operating together. The really exciting part now is we're going to be transitioning. So IMBU we've had the two offices, which has caused confusion about which one to go to get certified, which one would provide you with what resources to help your business. So we've eliminated that confusion completely. And we've merged, combined, and really have a robust host of services for small minority and women-owned businesses. What we're going to be doing is starting a new mayoral agency. We're going to be announcing the name in July.
What?
That is going to be us moving out of the law department. Will no longer be a small office within the law department. We'll be a mayoral agency with those two offices combined. And we will be focused on everything that we have in our core mission. So we'll still be doing certification, contract compliance on pre and post bid, outreach, development, investigations of any sort of violations of the program. So we're still going to have the same core services. We're really just adding in that development and outreach piece. So Paul Taylor and his team are all within the office. They're still here. We're going to be doing those activities. We also have the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Advanced Manufacturing Center, and also the Main Streets program under my office. So we're looking to do a lot more throughout the city with our small and local businesses. And the big change is we're going to be focused still primarily on local minority and women-owned businesses, but bringing in also those majority local businesses as well that are in our main streets to just have more vibrant small business throughout the city. When we talk about vacant storefronts, when we talk about why are there not more businesses and accessibility to some of these things throughout our city, that's what we're going to be working on. So we're going to be partnering even further with the wonderful folks at Downtown Partnership with Shalonda Stokes that do fantastic work. They're doing so much with downtown Baltimore. It's amazing. We've got a ton of new developments and things going in around the arena, tons of new housing. So it's really exciting to have the partnership that we have. Also working with BDC. We're going to be doing even more to try to make sure that people hear about and see the good things that are happening throughout the city.
You know, Mr. Frazier, this has not happened in years past. In years past, Black businesses in a majority Black city have been on the periphery. And so he's mentioned Shalonda Stokes in downtown. It brings the Boost program to mind. This has not been happening in the past. You think of downtown, the harbor, you think of Phillips, you think of white mainstream businesses. You don't think of a David Bramble. You don't think of Black people having ownership. You think of everybody else in a Black city. Come on, Mr. Frazier.
I mean, it's like unbelievable. We've been waiting for this to happen forever, but it's an influx of these young minds.
And this is getting rid of some of the old funky stuff too. Because somebody was in the way, Mr. Frazier. There was some arterial sclerosis going on.
Well, thank God that they've been cleared and we're moving on.
Got some collard greens going on now. Okay. Come on, Sabrina, say something.
Sabrina, Donnie always has this issue with white women-owned businesses. And can you explain how thorough your department is in screening the applicants, white women-owned businesses who are applying for WBE status? Can you just touch on that for a moment?
Yes, all businesses, it doesn't matter what the category is, all investigations are thorough and conducted within the regulatory requirements to make a determination, that the applicant firm meets the eligibility requirements of the program. And, and those eligibility requirements are ownership, minority status, control, meaning technical expertise or experience in the NAICS code, product or services you want to offer, and the personal net worth, P&W, and the SBA size standards. All applicants receive the same investigation. There's nothing different. The whole certification process is meeting the eligibility requirements, participate in the program. And, we do a thorough job. Like I said, we're the largest in the country. Actually, our certification agency is the largest in the country. We're larger than California, Texas, New York.
Hold up. Maryland is bigger than California, a state that's 20 times bigger?
That's correct. We are the largest certification agency in the country with over 9,000 firms. Last year, our office received 1,400 applications. We certified 773 firms. We only denied 37. So we have a 95% approval rate. You know, it's if you are a legitimate, bona fide, minority-owned business, there's no problem in getting certified.
Well, Sabrina, what's been the problem in the past? How come it hasn't been working to our advantage? Or are you saying it has been working to our advantage? I'm a little perplexed.
I think that it has been working. I think that, as we all know, working in this area, that a lot of small businesses, and particularly minority businesses, are not prepared with the documentation that's required.
Oh, so you're saying it's the MBE's fault?
I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm saying it's the lack of preparation.
Well, could it be too much paperwork? Michael Haney is suggesting that you send people through the ringer. You want to know everything about us.
Well, the requirements, the programs are narrowly tailored, strict scrutiny on the constitutionality of the program to have a race-based, gender-based program. So there are different criteria for small business enterprise, which is race neutral. So there's the requirements. We have regulations, and we follow the regulations to be in compliance and not jeopardize the program itself.
So, Donnie, just to get back and close on this, if there's a situation that you encounter or anyone would encounter where you suspect that if it's a white woman-owned business and that white woman isn't really large and in charge and running, just a figurehead, then there is a means to file a complaint and have that investigated.
I'm just wondering, maybe I've heard too many horror stories, or maybe the horror stories I've heard were exaggerated. I mean, you remember when Tamara Brown was down there, she didn't have a whole hell of a lot of great things to say about the process. Maybe I'm just contaminated by the past, Mr. Frazier. I don't know.
Well, I know from my work with Baltimore City and with Sabrina's group at the state that they are a thorough group of professionals, and they investigate the facts that are in front of them, and they make their decisions based upon that. Now, I have seen in the past and recently where folks have reported to me that white women-owned businesses are winning, and they say, "Well, Wayne, I don't see no white women running anything. All I see is white men, white men, white men." And from that perspective, then I will, as they say in the past, drop a dime and let folks know, hey, this is what is out there in the street. Can you confirm that? So in some cases, some have lost their certification, and in others, they've proven me wrong. But the point is, there is an opportunity to request an investigation if you feel something is fraudulent going on, and that's the best way I can say it. But
Sabrina, my question is, why do I have to prove that I'm a black man? Why can't I just do business like everybody else? Why do I got to prove anything? When I go down North Avenue and the police pull me over, I know I'm black.
You can't see paperwork. So if you get pulled over in person, everyone knows you black, but you do have to fill out some sort of paperwork so that we can even document it. We, as an agency, as a state agency, you do have to document, and you do have to show bona fide information. So it's just not that a black person has to fill out that paperwork. Everyone has to fill out some kind of paperwork for the certifications.
I figure when I pay my $300 each year to the state of Maryland, that's enough damn pass. $300, you know who I am. You got my driver's license, my social. What else do you need?
Donnie, the other thing I'll say is,
The
You know,
program is 51% ownership and control of your business. In the NAICS codes that you want to get certified in, you have to have experience in that area. Your personal net worth, can't exceed $1.9 million for the state program and $1.3 million for the federal program. The size standards for the SBA is determined by the industry. So if your business is over a certain size, then you don't qualify. The program is for small and disadvantaged businesses, socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. So it's not just on race based.
Okay, I think Mr. Lundy had a comment.
Yeah, I was just going to add. I mean, I appreciate your concern, though, Donnie, in terms of businesses that may not actually be run by the WBE that has applied and is the face of the business. That is something that we're more sensitive to these days with our investigations in the city. We are really trying to identify the front businesses, whether it be a mother son, husband and wife, where the woman in the situation does not actually have the skill, expertise, and control of the business day to day, or they don't even necessarily take part in the business, and it's just that they show up for that interview or when they're doing the process. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're identifying those businesses. And I encourage anyone, if you're working on a project or if you have any personal knowledge about a business that is not what it appears to be, whether that be an MBE or a WBE, to feel free to definitely contact my office with your concerns. The only caveat I'll give is do have some backup for what you're asserting, not just that you have a feeling that this woman doesn't really know what she's doing. But we need something to go on, but we will investigate that. And one of the things that's great with the commitment we have financially going into next year is we're going to be able to multiply our investigators. So we're going to have more people out there looking into issues such as these, and also seeing who's at the site, because that's another way that we have a little bit of room for manipulation, doing the project management and making sure we actually see that the people that are saying they're working are on site, and that the vehicles that show up are from that company, and those are the individuals we expect to be there. So it's something we're going to be doing our best to tighten up in the city, but it's definitely due to that support from the administration to get the budget to be able to bring in a lot more investigators.
Mr. Frazier, we only got 8 minutes, but we got to get the big question, and we talked about unbundling. Mr. Lundy, you want to address the fact that for the first time that I've heard of, I could have missed it, a prime was penalized and kicked in the butt for not doing right by black people.
Yeah, it was really important for me to make sure that our actual enforcement is real, and that's something that has been difficult over the years, and it's no offense to any of my predecessors in terms of movement. As we said earlier in the conversation, there's been a climate shift in terms of the prioritization of these issues in the city. So it makes it a lot easier for me to be in position to have that support of the board when we bring these issues. But we're going to continue to do that. We have some other people already queued up that are going to be moving forward over the next few months that you're going to be hearing about for issues that they have. And we're continuing to monitor contracts and take it seriously when we hear about people that haven't been paid. The city sometimes has payment issues, but when the prime gets paid, we're looking for that 7-day prompt payment to be enforced and that people get paid within that time period. And when we transition to roll out citywide contract compliance within B2G, one of the best things we're going to be able to do is run that report of late payments of what has been entered in the system, because the primes are going to have to confirm that they paid that sub, and the sub's going to have to say that I received that amount of money. If there's any discrepancy or if those payments don't get entered timely, we're going to be able to see and sometimes make the assumption that, well, if you didn't enter that you made those payments, you might not have paid that minority business. You might not have paid that women-owned business. And we're going to be looking into those a lot sooner. So we don't have people with unfortunate stories that come to us and say, well, I haven't been paid for 1.5 years and I've been waiting and they've told me they haven't gotten it from the city. We're going to have a lot more oversight in that process as it's happening. So hopefully we're dealing with stuff within weeks or a month and not months or a year to make people whole. Because when it takes that time, that's where businesses lose out on the work. That's where work is taken away and we're not able to step in at a time that they can still actually do it and reap the benefit of what the arrangement was for the contract. And that's the biggest thing is from a legal standpoint, I'm making sure that we understand that we at the city have contractual obligations, but the prime surely has contractual obligations. And one of them is utilizing to the extent that they said at the time of award, and also paying people timely. And those are the big ones that we have to do.
Contact info.
And then my contact info is my name, Christopher.Lundy, Lundy at baltimorecity.gov. And that is the best way to reach me. You can also go on the MBOO website and you can click on the contact MBOO link. And that gives you a form where you can email your questions, concerns, anything you have ongoing with the contract. All those resources are there online for you.
Mr. Frazier, Baltimore. I've been to Little Rock, Arkansas, and asked about MBE, and they looked at me like I was 12 karat stupid. Baltimore is a national leader when it comes to Black business. Would you agree?
Somewhat. Yes. I mean, when you look at the 1940s, 50s, you had the late great William Little Willie Adams, who got the first Black business, Park Sausages, listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Then you had the brother.
Without MBE legislation.
Yes, most definitely. And they defend it too, but not just Baltimore, the state of Maryland. So I think they go hand in hand. The city and the state, in my opinion, does an excellent job in promoting the utilization of minority and women-owned businesses.
Let's give these ladies a chance to say something before they go, Mr. Frazier. Come on, Deena.
Sorry about that. I just, thank you guys. We're going to keep up trying to do the great work inside. And on behalf of DPW, truly, we are making sure that everyone has an equitable and fair chance. We have a great team at DPW under the leadership of Jason Mitchell. And I'm honored that the mayor really took on the unbundling initiative. If we change the mindset, again, the way we do business and the way we put out contracts, it can only enhance the minority participation and the minority community, just holistically, just from employment.
I got to put a word in for Marco Merrick. What is that chant? Please put a word in. That's my Cancerian brother. I don't want no crap when I see him in the street.
That is right. And that's why I've been saying best in class. But Marco Merrick does not like the word minority.
He does not.
He does
not. Oh,
not.
my God. I'm with him.
He just wants everyone to be treated fairly. He wants equity for all. And he is a great steward for all things, because you can learn a lot just by listening to Mr. Merrick. But yes, so our chant is DPW, best in class. That is our chant. That's where we are trying. We're not perfect, but we are becoming best in class.
Very good, Dean.
Let's get Sabrina a final thought. Sabrina, you want to say the final word or two?
Yes, thank you for having me, Donnie. I appreciate that. And Wayne Frazier, we all have a long history. What I would say is I encourage all small businesses to apply for certification. It's not difficult as it's been inferred. It's a process that is required. There's a lot of state contracts and the agencies out there making procurements, and they need minority businesses to be available to participate. And in order to count the participation towards the state goals, they need to be certified. And so I encourage them to contact us at mdot.maryland.gov. We have an extensive website with a lot of good information out there. Our phone number is 410-865-1269. You can call us our main line. We have people standing by, available to work with minority businesses. And get them through the certification process. And thank you for having me.
Mr. Frazier, this has been the best show ever. We've brought to the forefront information that many of us in the business community have pondered, have argued, have you know, we've gotten in the back and forth, but Sabrina and Deena and Mr. Lundy have let us all know that Black businesses, and of course everybody else, but I'm saying Black because we are Black in a majority Black city, and we want to know what's available for us. But I'm hearing that all we have to do is apply. And so kudos to this mayor, Brandon Scott, because, hey, he surprised a lot of people. We didn't expect this.
No.
And to our new governor, Governor Moore, who has an emphasis on minority business.
See, we've heard this song before. I'm just glad it's here. Lundy.
I just want to say quickly, thank you both so much for having me and giving me an opportunity to talk about the office and the work that we're doing in the city. And my website is law.baltimorecity.gov/MWBOO. And join us, please, on June 15th in the city. We're having a procurement fair at the War Memorial Building. It is going to be a great opportunity to meet prime contractors that we're working with. Local organizations, universities, and city agencies. And with those city agencies, we're going to be giving some forecasting of opportunities that are upcoming for our minority and women-owned businesses. Forecasting is key for everybody planning out the opportunities and where they can actually move forward in their business development with the city. So we're really looking forward to that on June 15th at the War Memorial, which is directly across from the Baltimore City Hall.
Well, maybe Donnie can advertise that for you.
Yes, we would appreciate that. I'll send it along to Donnie.
Very good. Very good.
You know, when they running for office, Mr. Lundy, they ain't got no problem sending me stuff, but you know, now I gotta go to a website and fill out. But okay, all right, fine, Sabrina. When they trying to win, they don't say, "Are you certified?" They just say, "We want to win." Okay, all right. I had to get my little 2 cents. Great job, Mr. Lundy, Deena.
Thank you.
They're our champion.
Thank you.
Good deal.
All right, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
See you on Friday.
There'll be a lot of networking